play everybody's favorite game, playoff math. Yay! So Colorado really shot themselves in the foot last night when they were up 3-1 against the Ducks going into the third period, and then only took 2 shots on goal in the entire third period and lost in overtime. Thanks! You help us not at all, Colorado. You know I love Colorado, and I really, really wanted them to get into the playoffs, and they still can. But here's some playoff math for them. They're at 93. The Blues are at 92. The Blues have a game in hand. So if the Blues win all 3, then they are in with 96. Colorado needs to win both of their games to get at 95, and they need the Blues to lose in regulation on at least one of their games, assuming they win both, in order to clinch that spot. The Ducks are 1 point behind the Kings. I believe they have 95 and the Kings have 96, but the Ducks have a game in hand. Still, if the Kings win, they actually don't even need to win. If the Kings get a point in their next 2 games, there are only 2 games left. If they get a point in either one of those games, they clinch a playoff spot. If the Ducks then lose at least one of their games and the Kings win both, then the Kings are in third place. There's a lot of ifs and whens and hows and blah, blah, blahs as far as where the Kings will end up, but they only need 1 point to clinch a spot. 2 games left. Okay. 2 games left. With the things working out the way they did tonight, the Sharks and the Wild have officially clinched their spot in the playoffs, and that leaves 3 spots. Third spot in the Pacific, 2 wildcard spots, 4 teams currently in the race: Blues, Ducks, Kings, and Avalanche. Really, really hope that the Avalanche didn't just shoot themselves in the foot completely with that, losing to the Ducks, and then, losing to us. It was unfortunate. I was actually hoping for overtime because I wanted to give the Avs at least 1 point, but that was not to be. Sorry, Colorado. We needed the points too. I hoped for the overtime, but what can you do? So the Avalanche have their main goalie Varlamov out with an injury. The Kings have Iafallo still on injured reserve, or not injured reserve. He's still injured. Muzzin is still injured week to week, and about halfway through the first period now, so is Forbort. He left Staples Center tonight on crutches, not putting any weight on his foot. This is concerning. I've never been a huge fan of Forbort, but he has been stepping up lately. The last 5 or 10 games, he's been very, very good. So, great. Great. We lose a defenseman. That puts Alec Martinez at 32 minutes and 11 seconds tonight. This did not go to overtime. 32 minutes and 11 seconds and 60 minutes of hockey. Didn't help that he is a lefty, and so is Dion Phaneuf, and Phaneuf was in the box for, I want to say 7 minutes, but it wasn't quite 7 minutes. We'll get to that. So the game started kind of slow. Honestly, the first 10 minutes up until Forbort kind of took that hit, not really much going on. There were maybe 4 shots on goal in the first 10 minutes total. There were a lot of hits. The Kings out-hit the crap out of Colorado. And Colorado, like I said, is coming off a back-to-back. They played the Ducks last night. So many reasons I needed them to win that game. But anyway, so they're a little tired, I guess. Kings are always kind of sluggish to start off, but then Forbort gets the hit, and Phaneuf gets into a fight. He levels Rantanen, and Zadorov, I think it's Zadorov. He takes offense, and kind of rightfully so. I don't know. You stick up for a teammate. It's a good way to shake up the game. So they get into it center ice. It's kind of more like a little dance there. Not a whole lot's going on. So they both go into the box for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Dustin Brown is having a hell of a game. So many little things he's doing. He got some great breakaways in the first. Everything he does on the 3 PKs that the Kings ended up with is phenomenal. Just so many little things with the puck movement. Everything Brown did on the ice tonight, I loved. Everything. His game is so much better than it has been in years past. And just so happy that he is proving to everyone why why it's a good thing that Vegas didn't pick him up. We should not have left him unprotected. I doubt when the next Seattle expansion draft comes around, we will. Anyway, not enough about that. So Brown's doing good things. Phaneuf's in the box. And then somehow the Kings score their first goal. And I say somehow because this is one of the oddest goals I've ever seen. Bernier's kind of dancing around it, so the zone entry comes from Thompson. He takes the shot, and it ricochets off at kind of an odd angle. And then Mitchell gets it back at an odd angle, but it, like, hits Bernier funny, and he kind of hops around, and somehow it ends up behind him, and I still don't really know how. But yay, the Kings have a 1-0 lead. Woo, scored the first goal. That's always a good sign, because, you know, they haven't been doing that a whole lot lately, or ever this season. Okay, so Kings are up 1-0. Avalanche isn't really letting that go. They step up their game a little bit, and Folan, I believe, is the one that takes the penalty. Okay. Quick's looking pretty good, but, you know, not great yet. There were just a couple of times where I looked at Quick and I was like, you have no idea where that puck is right now, do you? Is it underneath you? Oh, wow, you can do the splits. That's awesome. So, potential for the Avs to tie it up, and instead, there's some confusion in the neutral zone. Kopitar gets the puck out to Dustin Brown. Instead of dumping it, he chooses to go on the breakaway. There are a couple of Avs circling him, but none that really have enough speed backwards to take away any of his shooting lanes. There's no one to pass to, and he just kind of lofts to, or chooses to loft it up a little bit. Pass Bernier. He did not see that coming. 2-0. 2-0, shorthanded goal. Like I said, Dustin Brown doing absolutely everything right tonight and rewarded with the shorthanded game-winning goal. Oh, thank you, Dustin Brown. So that's fantastic. Things are looking really good for the Kings, not so great for the Avs. And then, with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first period, Phaneuf gets called for boarding. Truthfully, when I first saw it, I didn't actually see it. Looking at the replay, it was bad. I really like Phaneuf, and I like that he has grit and he's tough, but that was not a good hit. So he goes in for 2 minutes for boarding, and the Avs don't, convert the power play, but they get a little bit of their momentum back, and we're hoping that doesn't go into the second period. It doesn't so much. They do end up scoring a goal on Quick, but the Kings seem to take that in stride, and while the entire Staples Center is very nervous about this, the Kings don't seem to be. It's a power play goal. It's exactly... Oh, no, that was the Clifford goal. It was exactly 2 minutes, but it's kind of early into the second period. It's the third power play that they've had, and you're just kind of thinking, guys, I mean, the first one, whatever. The second one, Phaneuf, probably he shouldn't have done that. The third one, early in the third period, guys, this is not a trajectory I am very comfortable with. This is not where the game needs to be going. So they score on it. Kings unable to clear. It's going to happen, and it's 2-1, and I'm kind of thinking I might get my wish for overtime, and part of me is thinking, oh, overtime, great, but also don't actually lose LA Kings. That would be bad. Okay, it's fine. We can do this. This is not stressful. 2 games left in the season after this. No, we're fine. We're not fine. So things kind of keep plodding along. 2-1. It's a little concerning. The Kings get one power play that they don't do a whole lot with, and the Avs start to really make their comeback towards the end of the period, and you're just kind of thinking, oh, the Kings would like to see this one be over very soon. They're lucky to close out the second period with the 2-1 lead. So it all comes down to the third. Who gives the best pep talk? Well, 2 minutes into the third, Kyle Clifford gets one of the most gorgeous wraparounds I've seen in quite some time, and I'm used to Cliffy being really one of those grinder kind of players. So to see him finesse this quite so well, I was really impressed. It was a great goal and definitely elevated the Kings. Their game really kind of took away. Like they went up, and the Avs did what they did in the third period against the Ducks, and they really they just kind of slid down. It was a rough third period for them. They were lucky, very lucky, that they only came out of it 3-1. Bernier was fine. But the Avs definitely lacked the energy they needed to play a full 60 minutes, which is something I usually say about the LA Kings. So nice to see that that was not true on behalf of the Kings there. With maybe 3 minutes left, they pull Bernier. No empty net goals, and Tyler Toffoli had a pretty good chance at one. So no empty net goals, but there was a Kings power play with maybe 24.6 seconds to go. So, you know, they're not coming back from that. So the final score was 3-1. The Kings get their much needed 2 points. I totally forgot that the one penalty the Kings power play, that the Kings had, that was drawn by Dustin Brown. So really, really a stellar game from him tonight. Quick had a great game. Martinez had a hell of a game. A lot of little things that all of the Kings did that stepped up that gave me hope. And I would be much more excited about all of the things that happened if we were not playing Colorado, whom I love so very much. So expect the next couple of games we play, which is the Wild and I believe the Stars on Thursday and Saturday. I'll be much more enthusiastic about our playoff hopes. At this point, I think it's a little too much to ask that we control who we play in the playoffs. I would prefer if it wasn't Nashville. Ideally, we'd be third and play the Sharks. But, you know, I wished for that in 2014. Oh, sorry, I wished for the Ducks in 2014. No, I wished for the Sharks. I mean, whatever, whenever I wish for things in the playoffs, that doesn't really quite go according to how I wanted it. So, however we end up, one more point, and it's clinched. So, fingers crossed, Kings fans. Either way, 2 really big points tonight. It takes a lot of pressure off of them for the next 2 games.